We're live.
Start the music. I don't want to talk over the music.
Welcome
DJ
to
Fuzzy Nuts, hit me.
podcast. The views expressed on this program are the opinions of the hosts. Listeners are encouraged to follow the show on Twitter at @AN_pod or at theallaboutnothing.com. You can email the show theallaboutnothing.com.
Fuzzy Nuts.
Leave the show a message at 80367200533. Thank you for listening.
Oh, that is never going to get old, is it?
You might be next, man. That might be you calling.
20533.
And then see, I go and hit buttons. Start it over again. You know what? You know what we're going to do?
We wanted to.
We're just going to start again.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do.
Let's do
Start
it again.
We all
Ooh,
talked over
DJ
it.
Fuzzy Nuts just started the track back.
The views expressed on this program are the opinions of the hosts. Listeners are encouraged to follow the show on Twitter at @AN_pod or at theallaboutnothing.com. You can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com. You may also call and leave the show a message at 80367200533. Thank you for listening.
Honestly, I that's probably the most appropriate thing to do. You just get to redo it over and over again. I can think of nothing better.
Bring that
Fuzzy
back,
Nuts,
man.
Drop that intro one more time.
No.
Welcome to the All About Nothing podcast. Barrett Gruber, Trent Clark, Zach King here. It has been seriously one crazy week.
The weirdest of
honestly,
weird.
I don't even really know how to react to everything because look, we were on Tuesday and we did sort of a pre-debate thing where Trent and Zach yelled at each other over football.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. We didn't mean to take it.
There's a lot of
Yeah, well, we were not going to say that F word tonight.
No.
there
What's
was a
the
lot
F
of
word?
there's a
Foosball.
Fuzzy Nuts. Can it be Fuzzy Nuts?
That's the
Yeah,
F word we
Fuzzy
always
Nuts.
said. Motherfucking Fuzzy Nuts.
Look, there was. I will fully admit there's a lot of passion going on with college football right now, considering that my fantasy football league almost suffered this week from this debacle of Pittsburgh and the Titans, and as well as New England and Kansas City. So look, this is the reality. This is the reality of what's going on during this COVID period. And honestly, I fully expect it to go downhill. I mean, we have Canada right now, at least Montreal, Quebec. They are in complete shutdown right now. There are other countries across Europe that are in complete shutdown right now. Our president is literally in the hospital because of COVID. And we're going to talk about a lot of that here tonight,
Just to chip in on it, Barrett, when we went to the F word, fantasy F word, we had already spoke about it, but I also, having Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill be my 1 and 2, my quarterback and I had QB1 and wide receiver 1 be out.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and put it in Tom Brady, and Tom Brady came through with 38 points.
Yeah,
Tom Brady, man.
He doesn't get 38 points on the regular.
That's Tom Brady, man.
45-year-old Tom Brady, though. But again, I'm just going to put this out there.
You see LeBron, year 17. You see LeBron, year 17, man.
Yeah, so did the Nuggets.
Come on, the greats, man.
The Nuggets saw
the older
LeBron
you are, man.
I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this about LeBron. I think his off the court charitableness and his responsibilities that he has off the court are incredible. I hate watching LeBron play basketball.
It looks awful.
I have never seen anyone more. I mean, I get it's basketball, but it's almost like I'm watching soccer. There is so much drama in this basketball this season.
Pissy.
It is like a child screaming that he's not getting his way, and it's like I have to remind myself.
That's the game. That's the game. They made it safer. You got to think. Look, Brad. The way you feel about that, I feel about football. Because look, I'm a defensive back.
Legitimate.
I am a defensive back. That's what I played. So whenever they made the game safer for wide receivers to come across like headshots, that used to be a thing. Like that's what we used to like to do. That's what we used to. And once they start protecting the quarterback, it's like football's not the same.
Yeah,
you got to look at Tom Brady like LeBron James. That's how you got to look at it because they got to protect the investment at the end of the day. That's all they're doing.
And ultimately, I think that's why Tom Brady has lasted as long as he has, is because they have put so many, especially with the NFL and their love for Tom Brady. But I mean, just in general.
Look, Tom Brady's not going any place without a line. It has to have a line first for him to even step foot. He's like, "What's your offensive line look like first before I make this decision?"
That's easy, though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You got. That's where the money comes in. That's where the money comes in. Like offensive lineman is like the number one picks like every year, like every other year or something.
No, they're
not.
like
they're like the top. They're like the top players that get picked, other than quarterbacks.
The
offensive line.
O linemen, you don't know their names till they do something wrong.
That's until they get drafted. You like, who did they take?
Well, last week, who was it? The right tackle or guard or whatever for Kansas City came out and caught a touchdown pass. He's the first round draft pick to come catch a touchdown pass.
See what I'm saying? Offensive lineman, man, it's a whole new ball game now.
It had been like 13 years since he was drafted, though. It was ridiculous. Ryan,
it's definitely it has definitely made, I don't know. It's definitely made football and basketball. There's so much more drama involved, and it pains me. Like I would honestly, I would sit there and probably watch the NBA finals right now. And I've watched some of it, but mostly I'm watching it through recaps because honestly, it's so
Lakers
good.
in 5. Lakers in 5.
So? Lakers in 5.
They're gonna get one game.
This is kind of it's kind of like playing like back in the day when you would go to the arcade and put your quarters in and the screen would blink and you're playing like Space Invaders and you hope that wherever the screen, when it comes back on, that's where your ship is. That's what doing fantasy right now is all about, like, or playing ball in general. It's like COVID. Who's going to be in tomorrow? Cam Newton has coronavirus. Well, now the whole game is suspended and players from Kansas City and New England have tested positive. And now
why do y'all think Michael Jordan has gotten the DraftKings, man? He knew stuff was gonna get implemented, bro. He knew things was gonna change up. Like, come on, man. He's bought in. He's bought in. He's bought in the DraftKings.
Because Jordan just bets on everything.
It's true.
That's scary for him to have a part of the whole betting.
No, it's not scary. He's just literally like what
you have control over it.
He has control.
He would take the team to Taco Bell and give everybody the bomb burrito.
And he just got a NASCAR
first.
Michael Jordan just got in a NASCAR. What do you mean? He's on top of this betting thing, man. You're not understanding.
He's a betaholic, Trey.
That's smart.
I'm sure he owns dogs and horses.
Ultimately, for his children, it's not going to be smart because eventually the house does eventually win, and Jordan will have to rely on the money he made in college to support.
See, that's the difference between Jordan and what the high rollers do. Because if you watch the documentary. Remember the Jordan documentary that they did, the last one, The Last Dance?
I watched.
Jordan was not only betting with the highest of high, he was actually betting with the people that works for the arena. Like he's like, he would bet with the players that he know that made $50,000 a year, and like, hey, like Jordan, you just came from betting like 100,000 over here. Why you betting with the dollar games? He's like, I want your money in my pocket. I don't care what money it is. So he might lose on the low end table. But he's on the
Michael Jordan's an asshole and has an addiction. It's called gambling.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's scary.
I love Michael Jordan, but he definitely would. He would bet on the day his mother dies. Like that's the kind of guy he is.
It's a slap in the face because they literally just dropped the documentary this year, and the him coming with DraftKings just happened after that. And like, they just told you he had a gambling problem, so y'all give the person with gambling problem in control of gambling.
And you know what? Everybody remembers when DraftKings was that ad that kept popping up on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And you're like,
Oh,
if you don't get
sure.
this bullshit out of my face,
I'm telling you, bro, they was like, yo.
And then
come
now
on.
it's become like, oh, you want to bet? DraftKings will give you $1,000 to come back.
Yeah, because we know you about to lose it. And also
And
put your credit card number here first before we give you this $1,000.
And look at this.
Though.
DraftKings can have the internet, but now the White Sox, right, have their own gambling area within the stadium. So when you next year, hopefully, if you can go to a White Sox game, you get to bet. You get to bet in the stadium. Go to there, get a drink, place your bets. Just like
That's like horse racing. Yeah, I said it's like horse racing. That's crazy. That's
Mhm.
crazy. Oh my god.
Man,
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
downfall of
I-
us all.
It's
Yeah,
a rabbit hole.
I agree. It's while I don't. Well, look, I'm not saying I don't gamble. I don't gamble on sports because I just feel like that's just insane. That's stupid. I mean, ultimately, there's so many variables, and it's not controllable. So my gambling is pretty much done on the blackjack table, and because I know the variables. I know, I know how many people are playing on the table with me. I know what the house has. I know how everything's running and going. But blackjack is literally the only game I'll play. So
okay.
And honestly, that's like why I won't even take I will not take a cruise unless the cruise ship has
Blackjack.
a casino. If the cruise ship,
That's scary.
if it doesn't have a casino, that's the only reason. Because I'll go on a cruise and I'll spend, as soon as we cross international waters, I'll spend the first 6 hours of the trip sitting at the blackjack table making all the money back to pay for the cruise and to pay for drinks. So
But why do you say
wait, hold on.
waters? What do you mean after that?
Barrett just made it seem like he's that good at blackjack that he goes,
I'm pretty good at blackjack.
all right, y'all go have fun. I'm gonna go sit at the tables and get what I paid for this trip back out. Am I hearing you right, Barrett?
That is exactly
okay.
the case. I will not go on a cruise unless I know I can even play the table in order to make the money for the cruise.
Hey, let me ask you a real question. Let me ask you a non-incriminating question. Are you a card number knower?
You mean a card counter?
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. You're just incriminating.
It's not. It's not necessarily about counting the cards. It's more about being observant about what and your seat choice. It's about knowing and recognizing what cards are coming out as they're getting closer to you. I mean, there's still variables involved, and it's even counting cards isn't always going to give you a win, but you potentially, if you're paying attention to all of the cards that are coming, then you have a better chance of playing the odds and knowing what your card, what you're going to be dealt. So
right, there's a difference between situational awareness.
Yeah, I mean, but I went to Vegas. Go ahead, say what you're saying.
No, the difference between situational awareness and hyper intellect, where you can actually count everyone's cards and understand who's playing play. It's situational awareness, being like, well, if he just played jacks and this one, like, you can do faces and know what a deck holds.
Yeah,
that's not hard.
Yeah,
that's
but like
that's
I said,
being a good player.
Vegas, they change it out like every I want to say like 5 hands. I think I was at the table, and every time they just had a new deck ready to go. They was like, "Yo,
yeah." But after a hand, you're done. It's back to square zero, right? It's you're done.
Everybody's
so each hand, to understand the hands, that's fine. But you're still taking a gamble on thinking you understand the hand that's going to come.
It's always still a gamble. I look, that's like playing craps and putting 10 on black and 10 on red. It's going to come up black or red, so
right.
You're just playing the odds.
Okay.
Well, I'll say this out loud before we do need to move on, but my favorite game to gamble and bet on, especially with a partner, is spades. Spades is spades. I love spades. Trent, you with me?
I'm with you on that. I can if
Let's
you want to
play
be my
that.
partner anytime.
Let's go.
with
Yes,
spades,
brother.
man,
I'm a
down.
partner man, dude. We do this.
Okay.
All right. So Trent and I, spades. We're gonna do that live. We need to do
Yes.
that live. We'll have like a tilt the
Oh
camera
man,
thing.
the spades
All
concert.
of us on there. Oh. Put that.
Don't
We
be
need,
slapping
Viewers
mine.
at home.
we need a Patreon.
Viewers at home.
That'll be a
are ready.
Patreon goal.
We haven't run out of things to talk about. We're just kind of maybe avoiding reality a little.
We're giving y'all some content.
Honestly,
We're giving you some content. That's what you need.
the reality is what sucks. So all right, so
Yeah.
moving on. First, let me just say the All About Nothing podcast is brought to you in part by Zach Williams, certified massage therapist at the White Knoll Chiropractic and Wellness Center. Zach is a veteran of the United States Army and is very attentive to his patients, their health, and their well-being. Appointments are available by calling 803-727-4520. And as a special to our listeners and viewers, mention that you heard this ad, and Zach will give you 25% discount on your first appointment. That's 25% off your first appointment. Just mention the code All About Nothing. Again, appointments are available. White Knoll Chiropractic and Wellness in Red Bank. Give Zach a call to schedule an appointment, 803-727-4520. So, look, we watched the debate. We did not do a reaction to the debate, but we did do a reaction to the lead up to the debate. And I think most of us in our head probably had some idea of how exactly it was going to go. Did we? I'll just say this for my. I did not think. First of all, honestly, I was gonna not watch. I was gonna turn it off, and I was just gonna go to bed. But I made the mistake. I pulled up Facebook and I saw some comments from people like, "This is ridiculous. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen." I'm like, you know what? Just let me watch a couple minutes of it and let's see how it goes. I turned it on and could not stop watching it, and I did not fall asleep until almost 1:00 Tuesday.
It was must see TV.
Because
it wasn't. It was Zach.
It was must see. Everybody
an
had
hour.
to see and understand who the two dudes that are trying to run your company, you're trying to run your country is. That was like
I was so.
I had to go to
I was
bed. I
so
had to take a Xanax. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I said, "This is it. This is what we have going on right now." I watched it for an hour, and I looked at Gabrielle and I said, "Apparently, it still goes on for like another hour and a half." I said, "I have to go. I can't."
And then Bear, we were thinking about being on here while it was on it.
Oh,
if we would have all stood on here, we would have been looking at each other like.
It would have been us just screaming into cameras and microphones, just like.
Look,
I'd be like the good old boys.
I even thought about pulling some clips to put on the show, but like I listened to several of them, and as I was listening to them, I was like, you can't tell even what the clip is about. You can't tell anything that's going on in it. All you hear is Biden being asked a question, and then or Chris Wallace asking a question between the two of them. And Trump would answer his with not an answer, and then Biden would try to answer, and Trump would interrupt, and it was, I mean, look, and part of me wants to just say, you know what, it was a victory for Biden because Trump showed exactly who he is. But I got to be completely honest, I feel like it was a victory. I feel like it was just as much a victory for Trump because his supporters don't want to see him answer.
There was no winners in my opinion.
They don't want to see.
I've never heard of a group of people that never want to hear what their president has to say. I've never understood it. I'm like, it's like they all know. It's like they're like, yo, he's gonna tell me once he gets off of this stage, he's gonna call my phone personally and let me know what's going on and what's he gonna do for us. Like, I'm not understanding how can you feel that secure with a president like that? Like, you can't be secure. There's no way.
When he so some of the takeaways, you know, and people think this is. I'm sure that there are people out there that are you know so gung-ho Trump that when Chris Wallace asked him to denounce white supremacy and he wouldn't do it.
Nope.
I don't feel like anyone should be shocked by that. Like, did you guys feel like that was an opportunity that he was going to take advantage of? That he?
I felt like he could have. He could have.
I literally was
that
like,
would have.
I
that
thought
would have closed the gap for him.
yeah.
That's your time. Like Like if you want the undecided people that's like, hey, I've been a Republican all my life, but I really don't like what you're doing right now. That would have been able to get those people right back on his side. But he was like, yo.
He at the very least could have said, I condemn racism of any type. I don't like racism at all. It's white nationalists, white supremacy included in that. I don't like any kind of racism, period. No, he goes, what do you want me to call them? I don't know what to call them. And Joe Biden's are like, Proud Boys. And he's like, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. And now the Proud Boys
what's the craziest shit?
The president.
That's
go.
crazy that you
were
routing them up.
I want to say
that's crazy.
I want to say I fully believe that was probably the one thing that he rehearsed more than anything else in his debate prep was stand back and stand by, because that was almost the only thing that came out the most clear. I feel like because he knew that somebody that at some point Chris Wallace was going to ask about racism or white supremacy, or for him to denounce a group or whatever,
which Trump is crazy that it took that long.
But if Trump knew that if he got them to bring up white supremacy, he knew that if he could say something like, give me a name, tell me which group you want me to do it, and then Biden named Proud Boys and said Proud Boys like 3 or 4 times. And then Trump just said, you know what? All right, Proud Boys. Sure. Just for those Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Like,
but Biden should have said the KKK, man. Let's be real. Let's put something we can stamp on. And don't know about everybody. Don't really know the Proud Boys like that. They know the KKK.
Until you should absolutely know the Proud Boys like that. Like those are the guys who are out there that are going to, like, you go like, who are you voting for? They're like, Biden. They're like, we're gonna beat you up now. Those are those people. Those are those guys that will literally fight regular people for just saying like, yeah, Trump. I don't like Trump at all. Well, fuck you, bam, like, gonna go fight you for it. They will do that. And the guy who started
they are legitimately an organization.
Yeah, the guy who started
it.
Legitimate. Out of where? Where's he from?
And again, while I don't agree with everything that Joe Rogan has on his podcast, he's had the guy who started it, and he goes, well, I started a gang. I started a gang called the Proud Boys. Yeah, hell, and dude, there's videos out there. He goes, I'm advocating violence. Absolutely. If you don't think like I do, then I'm gonna go fight you. That's exactly like there is. Go search it now. I wish I could remember his damn name. It's not worth the space in my mind to remember his name because he's such a piece of shit. But he wants the Proud Boys to go out there and fight people for not agreeing with them. It is
another one of the things that Trump. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say another one of the things that really made me uncomfortable with Trump's debate portion of his debate was the fact that he made it seem as though he wanted his supporters to go out and stand to make sure that all of the voting was legitimate, that there wasn't any shenanigans going on, or that all of the. So in my head, what it sounds like is he is basically pushing for his most adamant. Go ahead, Trent. His most adamant, I guess, supporters to go and stand in the parking lot of polling places, probably with their guns, I'm assuming. And that just, that's just another form of intimidation. Like, this president knows that he is on the verge of losing an election and losing it, probably pretty handedly. I don't necessarily know that Trump is going to lose. I'm just saying it seems like maybe Trump believes that that's a potential outcome.
Right.
And it feels like he is trying to, at this point, the mail-in balloting thing is failing. I mean, he's losing that argument now because so many states have passed executive decisions or executive laws or executive orders to open up absentee ballot, like South Carolina. Anyone can vote absentee now. And actually, I wrote it down. Tomorrow is when absentee balloting will start. So absentee voting starts in South Carolina tomorrow. People that haven't gotten their ballots yet in the mail will begin receiving them tomorrow and on. but like, because he wasn't able to put a stop to that, because they weren't able to derail the Postal Service completely, there is now this push to have people stand.
Going back to the ice ray, just letting you know, I've got a.
Okay, everything okay?
No,
okay, all right. Nope.
Okay,
not a problem.
Bad.
All right, Trent. Trent, we'll catch you next time.
We'll talk to you later, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So we're gonna lose Trent, but Trent's got some stuff going on.
And by the way, Trent has some family stuff going on with his son. Everybody, send your prayers, thoughts, hearts, everything out to him. With him and what he's going through with his son. So, good luck, Trent.
Yeah. So legitimately, I think the only thing the president now has is the ability, or what he wants to do is basically just inspire fear in what is going to actually be taking place at some of the polling places, and the potential of not having, if you pull up into your polling precinct and you see 5 guys standing over there with AR-15s, is that something that you're going to be like, you're going to just walk into your polling precinct, or are you going to have some hesitation?
I'm right there with you. I've Gabrielle's gonna, of course, we're about to have her baby in 3 weeks.
Right.
She's gonna do absentee voting, but I'm gonna go to my precinct, which is directly across the street from my house almost. So I could walk there literally with no trouble. But I'm gonna take video. I want to know if there's people out there with the guns. I'm gonna go talk to them. Be like, why do you feel like you need to be here? And I'm not kidding. Like, I'm gonna go cast my vote, and then I'll come out and be like, what's up, man? I'm white, so I'll be fine for one. But I'll just be like, what's going on? What are you here for? I hope none of it goes on, and I have nothing to report, but to be like, hey, the line's really long. This sucks. But other than that, why? Who needs to stand by? Your voters aren't qualified any more than anybody else to be on the lookout for. On the lookout for who? Like the G.I. Joe bad guy? I don't know.
Cobra?
Yeah, Cobra. Like it's.
I would think that Cobra would be a Trump supporter.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just putting that out there.
Destro would totally be like, "You'll get them, rig the votes." Like, yeah, absolutely.
What was Starscream? No, what was what was one of the Decepticons?
Starscream was totally
Decepticon. Yeah, I fully believe that the Decepticons would have been Trump supporters as well.
Well, that's what we just need. Anybody out there with Photoshop skills, make some 1980 referenced cartoon show propaganda for him. Like, Starscream says vote Donald. Like anything like that. Cobra Commander says vote Donnie.
Do you think that Starscream and the Cobra guys, do you think they just had the same voiceover actors? I think they did.
Probably.
I think they did. They all sounded very similar.
What always tripped me out, like even as a kid, like whenever you would be like, "Oh, Optimus Prime's a semi truck," and you'd be driving it, and then like he's like what Autobots roll out or whatever. And like a guy's like driving the truck. He's like, wait, not yet. And like it's folded up. And he's just like flesh into gear, just like the guy. He's like putty into it.
I kind of wanted the reality of that, where some guy is in the cabin of the truck, and you hear Optimus Prime, Autobots roll out, and then all you see is you see the windshield just go with blood.
Yeah, pops like a grape just in front of everybody. We forgot we had Colonel Henson in the front. Like, it's bad.
Or he just gets tossed out the window.
Yeah, ejector seat. Yeah, he just gets launched. He's like, this is bullshit. Yeah. We're in the desert. He's just floating down. Yeah, that'd be awful.
So ultimately the debate was I think almost, what was it? I heard somebody say it was a dumpster fire. No, it was a fight inside of a dumpster fire inside of a train wreck. and that I think
Encased
is probably
in the
most-
universe's dirty diaper. It was
Yeah.
it literally, like, the next day was like literally had to be the all-time low of like pro Biden or Trump anything. It was just America together, the most together we've been since 9/11, to go like,
Yeah.
oh fuck,
What happened? Yeah.
yeah,
What?
it was the first time we all agreed that, like, well, that wasn't okay.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
it wasn't
like
it,
even
that was awful.
Fox News, but okay, besides like Sean Hannity and Janine Pirro and Tucker Carlson, besides the Nightline talking heads on Fox News, legitimately everyone thought that this was utterly insane. Sean Hannity described him as like a Hercules warrior or something like that. That he was
Well,
that Trump was like a warrior going into battle against Joe Biden, the evil, whatever. And it's like, I didn't see that at all. I saw an old man who couldn't tell when it was his turn to talk. That's what I saw.
I saw two old guys at a bar, and one started telling a war story, and then the other one kept trying to talk about how much better his was for a minute.
Sure.
And he's like, but I shot a guy. And he's like, well, I aimed at a guy and then I kept shooting. I'm sure I got him. He's like, well, I'm going to try. Oh, you shut up. Why don't you shut up? Like, oh my God. Like, the interruptions. And we had talked about it before the show had even started. SNL did a perfect job of,
Agreed.
like, I mean, it's perfect. Go out there and watch it. Jim Carrey's playing Biden, and then you have
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin always playing Trump. I mean, he did it was perfect. It was exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Without like at the end he brings out the click remote and just pauses Donald Trump, and he's
that was fantastic.
It was the best. You're like, oh, I wish we all had one of those. It would have been great.
So so after the debate, of course, the federal election, presidential, whatever the committee is that does these that puts together all these debates and comes up with the rules that the campaigns have to agree on. I heard conversations about what they thought that they could do potentially for the next debate to try and curtail some of the interruptions, and one of them was that the moderator would be able to have the microphone turned off, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not in favor of that. I don't
Really?
I think that it's probably best to have people be able to see exactly what it is that we get between these two candidates. You had Joe, who I think he potentially could have kept his cool a little bit more than he did, but honestly, Trump was pushing him so hard without actually debating him. I feel like it makes more sense that just to let that happen. Let people see exactly who Trump is. Let people see exactly who Biden is under those stressful situations. But I had an idea.
How do you think like the UN would handle two world leaders going at each other? They'd be like, no, someone needs to go unplug this now. Like, you can't.
The UN allows one person to speak at a time for whatever that 10 or 15 minutes. Like literally, there's only one microphone on the stage. That's how they handle it. But I guess if you were to have a debate between two UN representatives or ambassadors, then yeah, they probably would turn off the mic. I did have an idea though. I feel like at this point it would be appropriate that as long as so here's the stage. You have two microphones, two podiums inside of what I can only describe as hermetically sealed boxes, plexiglass boxes, that I'm not saying we cut off their microphones. I'm saying we cut off their oxygen. Anytime they interrupt, they lose oxygen. They lose the ability to give oxygen.
Yeah.
And then as the debate goes on and one of them continues to interrupt the other one,
they just pass out.
the moderator can cut off the oxygen. And I'm not saying enough to like kill him, but I'm just saying enough to maybe make it more difficult for him to yell. That to me would be more entertaining, at least, because at some point, Trump's going to be up against a glass like, I can't breathe.
No, absolutely no, because all the hot air too. He would also be like, "I'm sweating," and like
I hope that
unadjusting his
didn't look
tie.
too
Like,
stupid.
no, the thing that it would be great to be like Joe's sitting there going, he's like, "I want to talk to the American people real quick. I want to let you know, like blah blah blah," and then like Donald in the background's like, "Well, you know, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie."
You know, he's gonna walk over. He's gonna walk over to Biden's microphone and just take
Yeah.
it. Like, Joe
No,
Biden.
Joe, give it to me. Well, then Joe's gonna take a swing, right? Joe has that, like, I only take so much.
Yeah, I feel like Joe Biden has the potential of being really, really aggressive if pushed to it.
That's a guy who's had those tendons worn tight for a minute by like walking like this and shit. If Donald gave him one, he'd be like, "Oh, here it goes." Just like give him one good one. I would love to see it because Donald would he would do the LeBron and go like, "Oh,
Oh yeah.
face,
Oh, absolutely.
face." Oh,
Totally
he would
agree.
lay out.
Totally
Oh.
agree.
What
So
did you trip on a bone spur? Is that what just happened?
Tripped on his own bone spur. So that is that is my opinion on how best to handle the next one. I fully support lowering the amount of oxygen that these two candidates get during the debates if they interrupt each other. And you know what's going to happen? Biden's going to be like, you know what? If I interrupt them, they're gonna take away my oxygen. So I'm not gonna do it. So I can continue to get my oxygen. Trump,
or he could coax him a little and be like, "That's a lie," and then like let him ramble on, just heat him up a little more, just a little blow on the fire for a minute to get the coals a little hotter. Now that he's passed out, it's my turn to talk, Donnie, and he's just over there like passed out.
That's great.
There's your 2 minutes. It was all silence. Back to you, Joe. Like I was saying.
Honestly, I could probably go to bed after that. I don't think I would need any sort of like medication.
We know it. Oh yeah, we know what Joe has to say. It's fine. He won. Yeah.
I will say
we need a test of like, like if we had The Rock as the president and he was supposed to debate the next guy, he's like, all right, debate, good points, bench pressed. Who's the healthiest? Let's do this. Let's go. Physical, mental well-being. We need that for our country.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not saying Joe would do great in it, but I'm willing to bet neither would Trump.
You know, I don't know why this just made me think of it, but when we were having the discussions a couple months ago about the fact that the president took a cognitive test to prove that he didn't have dementia, and then he kept saying that Biden needed to take the same test to prove that he doesn't have dementia. I made the point to someone because they were arguing in favor of Biden. Why won't Biden just take the test? Why won't Biden do it? And I said, here's the thing about a cognitive test like that. Legitimately, someone had to convince the president that people think you are suffering from dementia enough for you to go take a cognitive test in order basically to prove that you don't have dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Enough people think you have dementia. The only person that's saying that Joe Biden has dementia is Donald Trump, who, I'll be honest, I feel like if he's telling everyone that he's projecting, it's
yeah, I know. No, he's like, yeah, you want to call me that? Well, look at this guy. Right?
Yeah.
And you know what? And cognitive tests for dementia are a bit different. And what from Joe Biden, one, we know he's had 2 brain surgeries already. Right. So he's had a brain bleed.
Right,
He's had a stroke, one that popped, one that was about to. They fixed it. He's also born with a stutter.
Right.
That's
correct.
Still part of his,
Yeah. He had a little bit during the debate.
He's always had that. Even he was debating Sarah Palin. And there was he was much more on point, crack of the whip, but he still had those little tick stutters that he still has. Whatever, man.
Yeah.
I would literally vote for a jar of pickles over Donald Trump to lead this country at the moment because the jar of pickles would sit there and maybe do nothing. Maybe someone would
Right.
eventually make it talk. Who knows? But Donald
The
Trump
jar
is
of pickles
going to
likely,
make it worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
the jar of pickles likely would not get in the way of the CDC. I'm just
Right.
putting that out there. Look, this jar of pickles got COVID. Well, okay, so before I want to leave the discussion about the president getting COVID-19 for after a quick break, but I do want to quickly. Did you watch the debate between, or the first debate between Lindsey Graham and Jamie Harrison?
No, I didn't get it. I didn't
No.
know.
I watched it before the show tonight. Lindsey Graham, Jamie Harrison, both running for Senate in South Carolina. It was last night. It was last night at Allen University.
Nope, it was my sister's birthday last night, so we were over there.
Oh, well, that's all good.
She's old.
It was on.
She's officially old.
Did she try to talk you into kickball?
No, I was like, "You're not going to play kickball." She goes, "I will too." I said, "No, you won't." I know Barrett keeps messaging you about kickball and stuff, but no, don't go play kickball. You don't need to. You have 2 children.
Kickball's fun. We're gonna play on a baseball field. So look, Lindsey Graham and Jamie Harrison. I think they have another debate coming up later this month. But it was almost like watching Lindsey Graham not necessarily running for Senate, but Lindsey Graham campaigning for Donald Trump, because a lot of the time when questions were asked, it seemed as though Lindsey Graham was pushing about how Trump has done a good job with this. Like they talked about, like he's like, it wasn't what Lindsey Graham has done in office, because honestly, if you look at Lindsey Graham's record, he's in the 16 years or whatnot he's been in the Senate. I think it's 16. That might not be correct.
I think it's actually
12?
more than that.
Is it? This is his 4th. Okay, so it's been 6 terms, 18 years. So
18
or 13.
I think
it doesn't matter. He's been
too
a senator
long
for a while. In the 25 years though that he has been in federal politics and as holding a federal office, of whether it's Congress, House of Representatives, or Congress, the Senate, in his 25 years, he has sponsored 3 bills that have been signed into law. 3. That's it. And I don't have them here in front of me, but that is pathetic. The fact that a senator who, especially in the last 4 years, has had such a prominent role to play in this current administration. There have been 3 in 25 years that he has sponsored that have become laws. That's it.
Answer me this:
3.
Is Lindsey Graham born and raised in South Carolina?
I assume so. He's from Seneca. I don't know how far back that goes. As far as was he from somewhere else and moved to South Carolina? I believe that he has been from South Carolina. I think he's from South Carolina.
I honestly don't know. So if any of y'all do know, and if you support Lindsey Graham, I know, and I will say this: I didn't used to hate Lindsey Graham until he turned into a bootlick and ball sucking turncoat. Until he got punked, he showed no spine. No, Donald Trump gives my cell phone number out to everybody. You better believe you're gonna have a it's not a war between men and anything. It's a war between men and maggots. I'm going to come get you. Like that. All he did was roll over and be like, I'm sorry. I get a new cell phone.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Even during the debate last night, and again, I watched it today. He even acknowledged the fact that he ran against Trump in the 2016 election. It was a very short-lived campaign for president. I don't know who convinced Lindsey Graham it was a good idea to run for president, but there is no absolute possible way that Lindsey Graham would have made it through the primaries. He didn't. I think he was.
I'll tell you right now, he'd have been a better president outside of whatever backbending he would have done for anybody else.
Well, I assume that there would not have been a Trump for him to bend over backwards for. Lindsey Graham probably I look back at all of those that ran for president during the campaign in 2016 for the Republican Party, and I'd have picked almost any one of them. Honestly, almost any. Herman Cain, no, not Herman Cain.
Ted Cruz, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Ted Cruz. I would have objected to. But who's the guy that's his HUD secretary? It's can't think of his name. The doctor. The doctor.
Perry?
No, that's the former Texas governor. He's the Secretary of Energy. No, crap, I can't think of his name.
We'll figure it out after the break.
he's always squinting with his eyes closed, and he did brain surgery on twins and separated conjoined twins.
Oh, fucking pyramids are grains.
Right, they're silos.
Ben Carson.
Thank you very much.
No, I would have been very much against Ben Carson, but it's thanks to Donald Trump that we know how crazy Ben Carson is. He's like,
And look, Ben Carson has not been replaced. Rick Perry.
He's the interior, something of interior.
Secretary HUD, Housing and Urban Development. Yeah, and I get it. Like in Trump's mind, he heard urban development. He goes, "Oh, we need a black guy on that."
Either I do it. Yeah.
I'm currently reading the Michael Cohen book, Disloyal. It's like a train wreck. Honestly, I just keep going through it, and I know everything in it. I already know. I've heard in his testimony, or I have heard, as rumors and whatnot. And he basically confirms in his book that all of these things are real and these things happened. But so I already know it. I don't know why I keep reading it, but I do, because I feel like I want to know what made him do it. Except that, now that I think about it, I think I've already gotten all the information I'm going to get out of it, because he fell in love with Trump.
Well, you can't trust Cohen either. I mean,
yeah, no, that's true. Well, I don't know. I might can trust him a little bit more than Trump at this point, because Trump did not come out and give him a pardon. So I tell you what, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back here in just a few minutes. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll take a break. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back in a few minutes, and we'll get the rest of the show. All right. Thanks.
For anyone whose opportunity still exists in America, there is the story of Jamie Harrison: faith, family, and service. Those are Jamie's guiding values, and we need them now more than ever. Jamie Harrison for Senate for South Carolina.
Finally back in stock, the Make America Great After facial covering. With COVID-19 and the novel coronavirus back in full force, confirmed infection cases on the rise, and now Trump campaign rallies starting again, you'll want to get your order in before these highly desirable coverings run out. Available in 3 sizes: adult, large adult, and Trump size adult. These new facial coverings are made from a combination of breathable nylon, cotton, and wool. They sport the same MAGA initials, but with a new and improved meaning. Make America Great After. After what? Well, if that's not clear, then how the hell did you wind up here? But since you're still here, you can just assume the last A stands for again, asshole. So click your way over to Wear a Damn Mask on Your Face, you dumb jerk.com, and you can stand in a crowd of others staring at you in a mask. When you order yours, you'll get a deck of 50 advertisement cards to hand out to everyone around you to increase awareness about the need to cover your nose and mouth holes.
Joe Biden was taught that if you see injustice, you've got to stand up and act. It's why at age 26, Joe Biden became a public defender, why he ran for county council and combated housing discrimination, and why, as U.S. Senator, Joe Biden led on civil rights and voting rights. In 2008, Barack Obama chose him, and for 8 years, Joe Biden served by the president's side, helping to lead us out of the last economic crisis and stop Ebola from becoming a global pandemic. But now in this crisis, Donald Trump has failed the ultimate test of leadership, especially failing communities of color who have been hit hardest by this virus. To heal this nation, it will take a president who has always stood up to injustice. Someone who sees the deep problems in this country and is willing to take them head on. Joe Biden, let's build this country back better.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
This All About Nothing episode is paid for in part by MGM's I Read From Right to Left. Coming to a theater this time next non-pandemic time period, Tom Cruise and Steven Seagal bring you an action-packed adventure full of thrilling scenes, hard hits, long falls, and drama that already has the Academy buzzing about a potential of being mentioned in the same sentence as Oscar. Tom Cruise stars in this story of a veteran teacher hiding his dyslexia with a no-holds-barred form of teaching, hiding his own learning disability for 25 years. Steven Seagal is a friendly, loving, new principal working to earn the trust of his protective, secret-laden teacher. But when their school falls under the siege of a left-wing anarchist with a mission to take the children's education and pride, Cruise and Seagal team up to free their elementary school from the grip of these oppressors. Tom Cruise, Steven Seagal, in what can only be described as the roles of a lifetime, in that at least one of them really needed right now. I Read From Right to Left, directed by the ghost of Aaron Burr and the Jonas Brothers. I Read From Right to Left, coming this undetermined.
I love this song. Honestly, I love this song.
Let it go.
Man. I'll be honest with you. Tom Petty, losing Tom Petty last year was brutal. And honestly, I can say, go ahead.
Now, he was one of those guys that would, he's super famous, but he met you right in the middle. He knew where he came from. He knew what he was all about. And it was the same thing. When you listened to a Tom Petty song, you connected because you knew. You were like, yeah, dude, sing the shit I sing.
When it was announced that Tom Petty passed, I did cry. I didn't bawl, but it was one of those things that just hit me really hard.
I was very, very, very bummed. I didn't cry, but man, it ruined my damn day.
Really bummed.
It definitely followed me. It's one of those things that haunt you for a while. When you know that person's not out there doing the damn thing that you love them for doing, it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is, and losing Tom Petty. Part of my fear is I know that Willie Nelson's probably getting closer and closer. He is definitely getting closer and closer to the end of his life, and I have a genuine fear that one is going to crush me just the same, if not more.
Willie, man, he's the guy that's responsible for Golden Country for the most part. I mean, he kind of set that. He brought it from, like, everyone likes their Conway Twitties and stuff like that, but when you heard Willie Nelson, there's a reason everyone knows Willie.
Oh yeah,
right. And that's why everybody always goes, "Leave my Willie alone. Don't you touch it. You don't need to remix any of his stuff. It's Willie Nelson."
That's what it means when some people say to leave my Willie alone.
When people say that, I'm like, I love Willie Nelson. Come here.
Yeah.
Me too. So, yeah. No, he was part of the gosh, now you're gonna make me look like an idiot, but the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they were the
Chris Christopherson.
Yep.
You had Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard.
Yep.
And then it was Johnny Cash.
Yep. It was that was a crew for sure.
Chris Christopherson wrote movies and stuff like that, but he was also like, you can't replace any four of the Horsemen.
No.
At all.
No.
And then now you have country guys beatboxing on top of, country music. I
don't have any issue with any music really. I mean, there's some of it that I don't understand why it's popular, but I don't have any issue with it. It's an artistic display. And
Freedom.
I
Yeah.
fully support anybody doing it if they have the talent and the guts to do it. I think do it.
No,
But
absolutely. That's why people kept shitting on Justin Bieber, and I'm like, no, good for that dude. Because like even back in the day, people would crap on Justin Bieber. I'm just like, dude, have you heard one of his songs? Like, I don't support him, and it's not my thing. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, what a loser, right? Says the guy who like works in an office. Like, he doesn't care if I'm a loser.
right.
You know what? I didn't do what he did.
Yeah.
He go to anybody and be like, you know who I am? They're like, yeah, and you would freak out and just be like, oh my god, like
Legitimately, I absolutely think that's correct. Look, again, I don't have anything against anyone who gets out there and is able to, like I said, artistically be, out there.
Well, I'll tell you this, like like I said, I could not name but one Justin Bieber song, and it's the Purpose. He sang a song called Purpose, and that's the song that Gabrielle and I decided hopefully she stays with it, but that she walks down the aisle to when we get married, once all the gross is away, all the sickness.
Sure.
And it is literally one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard.
Yeah.
He's totally put out ones that I'm like, you know what? I love Sam Smith. I think Sam Smith is amazing.
Yeah.
And there's songs that I don't even like jive with, but how impressive it is, his vocal range, his storytelling.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
like, but then he has like half of every album he's put out I've liked. So there's at least like 50 songs by his that are just
that's like who am I trying to think of? Chris Cornell.
I see. I love almost damn near every one of Chris Cornell songs.
That's what I was gonna say. The opposite of Justin Bieber for me is Chris
Right.
Cornell.
Oh, what a great like antithesis. Like that's perfect.
And I don't. I'm gonna be completely honest. As I grew up as an REM fan, I don't think Mike Stipe's voice gets enough credit. I think that
No, it doesn't.
I absolutely believe that Mike Stipe should have sang every single Bono song.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Just thank U2 all the time. I have one song that U2 and REM did collaboratively. They sang. Yeah, I'll have to remember it. I'll play it sometime. But they did a live version for back when MTV used to do music. Back when MTV used to do that MTV Unplugged, they did a recording together.
When they did Unplugged, the most annoyed you would get with MTV when it did MTV News and it would pop up with Chris, what's his name? Yeah. And then you were like, I don't fucking care. And he would literally tell you 5 seconds of news for 5 seconds. And you'd be like, shut up. And it would literally go back to like metal headbangers or whatever it was. It was right back to music. But you got so angry at this 5 minute. Now you're watching like ads for like 10 minutes, until your stuff comes back on. We got mad at like 5 seconds of like, Saddam Hussein died.
Uh-huh.
All right, but or it was more like Iraq invaded Kuwait. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
More on MTV News at 12:30. Don't worry, we'll tell you today's news tomorrow. Like they would wait.
Yeah. And it was like whenever they would break in with news, it was almost all like in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, I've not seen that AC/DC song in like forever.
Yeah.
Can we go back?
Yeah. Oh, I would remember when it was like 3 commercials and you knew all 3. You're like, they're gonna show the Clorox one, the Pine Sol lady, and then whatever else would come up.
It was gonna be the Toilet Pair Bears.
Yeah. You're just like, those 3 are coming. Then Chris is gonna say something. I have 1 minute, and like you would go run and do something. And be like, you would never make it back, right? You would always make it back. Like, I can't believe they're playing Temple of the Dog, I'm going hunger strike. And then you're like, damn it. And you would sit back and be like,
See, and you know what the reverse is of that is the fact that, like, if you're watching NFL football now, or if you're watching college football now, during these 30-second commercials, they don't actually even break away completely. They do a side by side with the commercial running over on the left, and they got what's still going on with the game. Well, they let the commercial completely play out before going back to the game, and the view you get of some quarterback getting their head taken off is only this little tiny picture.
Clorox wipes just to erase his head. Like, all right, this commercial just ran into each other. Like, what?
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, so there's without Trent here, which we do miss Trent, and we hope everything's okay. It may actually get us to do a shorter show tonight rather than 2.5 hours.
Well, I mean, I have to argue with Trent at least one episode.
That's true. And just so you all at home know, I actually had to send them both a text message and said, "Hey, any possibility we might be able to get through the show without you guys yelling at each other about football?" So they both agreed, and I didn't have to cut off.
I still feel my yell stuck back here somewhere.
Imagine so.
I had so many left over from yesterday. Listen, and I'm still flying my flag, guys.
Look, I think legitimately Carolina played well. I think that they played well.
It wasn't consistently well, and it was pissly managed. It was the worst game management. We have the ball back. If we score 2 touchdowns, we can make it. Well, that's totally acceptable within seven minutes of fourth quarter,
Right.
But when you go down and take up 5 of the minutes,
didn't make any sense. And I have not watched any press conferences about the game. I don't know what Muschamp could potentially be saying, because when they went to him on the sideline, I don't feel like he seemed like he was trying to rush them to move. I didn't feel like, there was 10 minutes. They were down by 2 touchdowns. That is plenty of time to pick up 3 touchdowns. The defense was holding. The defense was doing a pretty good job at that point of holding Florida. So I feel like legitimately they could have run down and got a touchdown, gone 3 and out, another touchdown, 3 and out, another touchdown. And Carolina,
it's funny. I can't tell you what went wrong in the game with the players, but I can tell you when it went downhill is when that drive that South Carolina literally went 1 third down converted, and then did a 13-yard pass, and then they got that penalty that took that away, and they literally shot themselves into the foot till they had to punt at 4th and 23. It was stupid,
right?
And then you're going, you were on their side of the 40-yard line, and you let that happen. All right. And then when you never moved the ball quickly. Florida doesn't deserve to be number 3. That game right there should tell you that right now. No, at all should they be number 3.
I feel like the power schools are the only ones. I mean, I know there are a few in there that are ranked, but looking at the rankings, I feel like there are several of them that are just in there because they are power SEC schools or power ACC schools, whatever. It feels like in watching a lot of the football yesterday that there were, you look at the rankings again, Florida's number 3, Georgia's number 4. I don't know where Oklahoma was number 17.
Tennessee's was number 17. They beat us. So if anyone wants to talk crap about South Carolina, we played number 17 now, however higher, and then number 3 and lost.
Right.
But we all know that these numbers assigned to any of these teams do not matter.
Of the teams available, these are the rankings. That's how I look at that.
That is ridiculous. Texas A&M almost lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
LSU did lose to Mississippi State. I take it they must have won because I didn't see people pissing and moaning on Facebook right now.
I legitimately thought that Alabama might have may have had a run played on them yesterday, but I mean, then they came back.
Who won Auburn, Georgia?
Georgia won 27-6.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see, because Auburn didn't play well against whoever they were playing, which was that Kentucky? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It might have been. It was. Yeah, I think it was Auburn, Kentucky. Yeah, so I mean, Auburn doesn't look good. LSU doesn't look good. Texas A&M doesn't look good. Kentucky, throw it up in the air and say what you want to say about them. I don't think they're good. They're good.
Right.
They have that unfortunate streak of kind of like South Carolina's building now. Like you can lose or you can win. But when you win, it's going to be by a lot. If you lose, it was going to be close. Like
Right.
it's then you go Tennessee. Tennessee's doing things that you just don't understand. Missouri, you shouldn't even be in our conference. Get out of here. I don't know what you're doing. There's one Columbia and it's in South Carolina. I don't know. It's I think that your good team is you have two good teams out of the East. It's Georgia and Florida, and then Tennessee's sitting there. I don't think they're great either. I mean, South Carolina could have had both of these, and it's literally up to coaching that they didn't. It's and playmakers not being playmakers. It's so half-hearted, half-assed.
Muschamp has how much more time on his contract? 3 more years? 4 more years?
He'll have next year, I think, and then you're done.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do something right off the wall, I mean, he's done. This year's a mulligan, right? You can't. I mean, you already have South Carolina has 2 or 3 players that already aren't playing because of it. You didn't get the normal time to prepare. You got a little extra, but in a concentrated like way, but it's not the same. You had no spring game. You didn't have warm-up games. SEC went straight into SEC play. You can go to you can be in the ACC, and even if you did go straight into ACC play, you didn't. You would sit back and have these warm-up games because you go Clemson open with Wake Forest. I'm a Wake Forest fan, but in no way is that testing Clemson at all.
No, not remotely.
Nor would anybody outside of the one team I would say, and I'm not counting Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't count to me because you're not in the ACC. You just agreed to a one deal thing 1 year. Would be North Carolina. And guess who they don't have to play? Even when they reshuffled the schedule, they don't have to play North Carolina. Because why would you do that? Because somebody said North Carolina is going to go rule Coastal and Clemson will own Atlantic, right? It could be vice versa.
Right.
You would just have those two be like, we're gonna let North Carolina come up here and be juggernauts at some point. Hopefully, Clemson's already up here. Why would you make them play each other? I get it.
Yeah, I feel like
you're a Georgia Tech fan. How do you? Is that?
Yeah. Ultimately, I think the ACC is awful. I just and I think that there are glimmers of hope for the ACC. I think North Carolina coming back up is a good thing. I think Miami looking better is a good thing for the ACC. Clemson's always a good thing for the ACC. Boston College, there's always these little glimmer of hope, and then, but that's because the reason the ACC looks good right now is because they're all, I mean, sort of good right now is because they're playing each other. You know, they're playing at the same level, but as soon as they travel outside the ACC, they lose. And besides Clemson, North Carolina potentially.
The thing about the ACC is you'll always have that outlier team like Duke or Wake Forest did it in 2006 or something that will come out and be a division champ. You don't really get that from the SEC or the Big Ten. It's always Ohio State or it's always Nebraska. It's I mean,
always
the
Michigan.
SEC. It's Alabama, or if it's going to be someone else, it's going to be Auburn or LSU. If it's in the East, it's always going to be Florida, or it's always going to be Georgia, and then one of us other stepchildren have a chance of coming up there.
Right.
It's one of those weird things because you can constantly have a rotating clip Rolodex of people in the ACC to come play Clemson, or Clemson will get beaten and fall out. At least it used to be, not anymore. Now they're just like, it's like a hot knife through butter. It's just stupid. Right. But your team has been doing okay. I mean, y'all got one blowout, didn't you? Yeah, like y'all got blown out one time.
Yeah, and Georgia Tech is still rebuilding. I mean, we lost Paul Johnson, and
I think Collins is going to be good. I think Georgia Tech is going to be good. Not this year. They may walk away with 5 or 6 wins, and if they win 5 or 6 games, then that's awesome. I think that would be, to me, that would be a good season for Georgia Tech. Next season, if we are out of COVID, then I feel like Georgia Tech should be able to come back and win 9 games, 10 games. Go to a good bowl and bring in some good audience that we can get some good recruits. That's ultimately what it's going to take. It's being visible.
No, I was just saying, I thought that, Georgia Tech would have a better chance of getting good recruits being in a metropolis like Atlanta, to have people want to come play in Atlanta.
Yeah. You would think that. The only issue is, for one, the ACC network, the television network, is not really in control of the media. It's not, it's part of this Disney ABC thing, with the same as the SEC network. But SEC network, when SEC network came out and ESPN3 gave a segment of their bandwidth to SEC, I mean, that was huge, and SEC took advantage of it, and they exploded for them. ACC network has been around for a while under the ESPN umbrella, and it just doesn't. I mean, but see, they also have to, now that they have to compete with the whole the Fox broadcast, Fox Sports broadcast, which, by the way, that's where the Braves game will be playing Tuesday. But it's just it doesn't feel the same. There wasn't as much put into an ACC network as there was the SEC network. They are handicapped, and because of that handicap,
do you also get broadcasted on that Raycom network? Remember
sometimes.
Really?
Raycom
still.
Yeah, they'll as far as now this year, I'm not sure. I've not seen any Raycom network broadcast. That's usually on Fox, the WACH here.
Yeah, you would turn it, either that or you'd have to buy it. But it's like it looks like Pickens County High School or whatever went out there. It's the worst. And they had to buy it from Raycom, and Raycom held that contract for a while.
Right. In order for Georgia Tech, the problem really is for Georgia Tech, they are constantly competing with Georgia. In order, because everyone any football player sees, if they are an elite athlete that's going to play college football, they got to go play at Georgia, because Georgia's the one that's going to be on television every single week. Excuse me.
But y'all, what's the record between Georgia and Georgia Tech?
I think Georgia's ahead. I think Georgia has more wins, which is, they've been playing for more than 100 years, but I believe that Georgia has more wins. I'd have to look it up.
The only thing I could say better about Georgia than Georgia Tech is the college area. Athens, I thought that was the coolest place. But I do think, and I'm gonna give it to your Yellow Jackets, Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck, a hell of an engineer. I think that's the best. Like, that's one of my favorite, theme songs.
Yeah. And I like the campus. Georgia Tech has a great campus downtown Atlanta. Bobby Dodd Stadium is one of the most classic, like, inner city stadiums.
Right.
I just think it's really cool. Yeah. So that was sport talk.
Well, I was going to mention that, like you said, the Braves have won the wild card series with the Reds.
Right. Now we have to face the Marlins, who we faced several times this year, and we had several really big games against the Marlins. Was the Marlins the game we played where we won? We had 29 runs.
Yeah.
So there is the potential, and I kind of so part of being able to do this wild card series, and then almost a full week later, the start of the division series is
real postseason.
Yeah, the real postseason. Having it a
a week later is kind of nice because Freed should be ready for a start on Tuesday, not tomorrow, Tuesday. Unless you're listening to this on Monday, and then it's Tuesday. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, it was yesterday. But yeah, I kind of like this. I suspect that we are probably going to see, I'm guessing it's going to be the same rotation. We're going to see Freed and then Anderson. And, Marlins have the potential of being, I'm going to say Braves in 4. I feel like that's safe.
I'll take Braves in 3. I'll let them take 1, 2, 3.
You do a sweep.
Yeah, because I think if the bats, which I think they're still, I mean, you put Freddie up there, Freddie's going to get you a run. I think scoring a run is going to come no matter what, and Freddie will be the man who delivers it. But I think once you get into that bullpen of the Marlins, they're cooked.
Oh, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely
true.
They have a very potent offense as long as they can get it going. But like Max Fried doesn't really allow for much in the way of runs. He's 8-0 on the season, which is unbelievable. I mean, that's outstanding.
And then who do the Marlins have? Urania. Good, but we also know Urania will throw at somebody too. So he's kind of a wild card when it comes to pitching. But there's no other good named pitchers to me.
How do you get Acuna? How do you get Acuna on in the first inning? Let Urania throw. If you don't understand what we're talking about, there is some history between Acuna and Urania. Urania has hit Acuna 3 times now.
Yeah, and then one time it was bench clearing. It was so deliberate. It was bench clearing.
It was.
I mean, I'm talking about Snicker looking like Bobby Cox going after Blues.
I'll be honest, I'm more afraid of Snit than I am of Bobby Cox.
Yeah, because Snit still has that snap. He can still go, man.
When you see him bolt out, because he skips steps when he bolts out of the dugout, like. When it's time for him to come out there and defend his players, man, he leaps into action. And he's old.
He lays in the ass with the chainsaw. He is ready to roll. There's no other way to put it.
I heard a statistic that he has been in the Braves organization for more than 40 years.
Snit
has been with the Braves in some facet for more than 40 years.
I'd
have to look at it and make sure it's accurate, but it's.
I don't know.
Because
I know he's been around, but 40 years.
He's a player, he's a coach.
No, I thought Snitty was playing. He's played within the last 40 years. Brian Snicker.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
I'm saying that he has been in the Braves organization either as a player or as a coach or as a manager for 4 decades, inside of 4 decades. That was a statistic I heard. Again, that's something I have to validate, but that I heard someone say that, and I didn't look it up. But that'd be
wild. Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, that is insane. That doesn't happen nowadays. Players change teams every 3 or 4 years sometimes.
Well, Snitty's that guy you wanted. I mean, he's.
Oh, yeah.
When we had Freddie Gonzalez as a coach, I thought that was the worst. Just why?
I was unhappy.
Why?
Well, look at Freddie Gonzalez now. He's coaching third for the Marlins or whomever. I mean, it's
he got a shot when he shouldn't have had a shot.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that was based on Bobby Cox's recommendation. It was like Bobby Cox was like Freddie Gonzalez. That's the guy. Who knows?
I don't know why. That's brought to you by Dan Ugla. Ugh.
There are so many people that loved when Dan Ugla played for the Braves, though.
I didn't get it.
I didn't either. It didn't make any sense to me. Dan Ugla brave to me. He didn't.
It always cracks me up because
I didn't think Josh Donaldson was going to be a Brave. I didn't think he was going to it wasn't going to
Dude,
be
you took
like
the
it is
words
with
right
everybody
out of
else.
my mouth. I was,
But Josh Donaldson came around.
that was completely like beta Josh Donaldson. Same kind of feeling when
Yeah.
Donaldson came on. You were just like, what?
Yeah.
But Donaldson came out
Yeah.
and like is the guy. Like,
He was embraced.
don't mess with him.
Ugla did
Dan
not.
Ugla was like,
Ugla did
if
not.
he could see the ball, he could crush it. But it,
Yeah.
like, you kind of like thought every time Dan Ugla made contact, like it should have been a home run. Look at you, you're up there and your arms are this big, and you're looking ridiculous. I don't know. I had the same feeling when Donaldson came, but Donaldson was heads and shoulders better than Ugla.
Yeah.
And then Ugla's announcing somewhere. He's doing something like that now. Not playing baseball.
Ugla playing in the National League should have been during COVID, because he would have just been a designated hitter, and he probably would have been a pinch hitter, because he would have come in when they had two on, and he would have just crushed it out. That's what he would have done, but it's whatever. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll move out of the sports, and we'll move back into the politics, and we'll just do one more for tonight, because
and if you liked our sports segment, let us know.
yeah, please. Of course, it's just us talking about sports.
We're not homers or biased or anything.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm extremely biased when it comes to Braves baseball. Falcons play tomorrow night against Green Bay. We got the New England Patriots are playing against who's the backup quarterback for the Patriots? Anybody know?
Oh yeah, it's the guy who is not playing. Yeah, the guy who's with the clipboard, and he's like high-fiving Cam when he comes in. He's like the first guy to high-five Cam when that's the backup.
Okay.
How are your ankles? He's like, good. Quit asking. All right. So making sure if I had to come in tonight. Yeah.
So Kansas City is getting yet another non-Sunday football game because of COVID. They of course opened the season on Thursday, and then did they have a Monday Night Football already? Are they getting their second Monday Night Football of the season already? I can't remember. I feel like that's correct. I believe that this is their second Monday Night Football. Are you checking? Anyway,
well, I'm looking at as to who plays Monday, but all right, so it is rescheduled. Kansas City is going to be on Monday at 7:05.
Yeah,
first New England.
Damn.
Well, luckily, I'm beating Dustin right now. 65% chance to win versus 35% chance, and he only has one more player as long as San Francisco's defense sucks.
I don't think
so. And
suck, but I think
I have I have both their running backs, and the one that's not out is playing right now.
Yeah, I this whole COVID thing. Cam Newton has tested positive, and he's almost between Atlanta and New England. Those are the only two teams that I can think of that have actually released the names of the players that have been added to the COVID list, or the COVID IR, or whatever, the COVID disabled list, or whatever. Because AJ Terrell went down for the Falcons, and AJ Terrell, of course, was Clemson cornerback we picked up, who is outstanding. And then Cam Newton with the COVID. But we know that, and of course, I always ask the question. I was like, why don't they just tell us which players came down with COVID? Because ultimately,
HIPAA.
Yeah, it's HIPAA, which I get it. It's HIPAA, and I get that, but like, I don't know. I feel like that should play like if Cam Newton goes down with an ankle injury, we know, that why isn't that HIPAA?
Well, if you didn't go to work tomorrow, your coworkers don't have to know why you were out. It's your discretion to be like, well, would it make everyone feel better to know I'm not fired, that I just have corona, or would it be okay to come back to work and everyone knows I had corona?
But I'm not.
It's a double-edged sword.
I'm not licking my keyboard and sharing it with everyone like Cam Newton does his fingers to the football and then throwing it to somebody. I'm saying.
No. Who says the players don't know? I mean,
that's my point. Is I'm hoping that even if they're not telling the public, I'm hoping that at
Right.
least the players know,
Yeah.
because then you got to do the contact tracing, which means you got to say, all right, Cam Newton was on a field with 21 other people. Okay, so those 21 other people came in contact. I mean,
and with Cam Newton, you have to ask who intercepted the football last game, and then go trace from them on back.
What I'm getting to is the fact that the president was diagnosed, and I'm not saying this lightly, but the president was diagnosed with COVID-19, and I think
Thoughts and prayers.
the part of the reason that I'm not still 100% on board with this whole thing is because you get so much hesitation from the White House to actually give us any information about what's going on with the president. Every time
I think I literally, when I heard it yesterday or this morning, whenever, Friday. So it was Friday. My first thought, and I looked at Gabrielle and I said, "The fuck he does." This could be a play, and we'll never know.
It's true. It potentially.
I don't know.
But this president doesn't want anyone to think that he is weak. He doesn't. He's been a denier that it was that serious. Even though
he overcomes it, and now he's the second Muhammad. He's up there now. He's like he. Oh, look at him! I told you, Corona wasn't bad. Even I beat it. But Joe couldn't beat it.
That's the thing that I'm concerned the most about is that so you have two outcomes from this. The president gets really sick and then he dies, or the president overcomes it and is fine. Both situations are really terrible because a dead President Trump from COVID is a martyr, and a recovered President Trump is just uncontrollable.
He's deified, right?
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose. And unless he dies, but that's not like, I don't want Donald Trump to die, right? I don't want any human being to die.
Right.
Do I think it's, if he actually has it, that's karmic. Yeah, look at that. It's real. And all the people who ever said it was fake now have to go like, well, sure, it's not that fake. Even the chosen one got it.
And that's the other thing is I still hear people almost weekly telling me, well, it's going to go away after the election. Well, you know what? If it goes after the away after the election, it was a miracle. It was a miracle that
Donald Trump would turn into Peter Popov and start selling vials of his blood over late night television. Like,
it's down to my box stand.
Yes,
selling snake oil.
Yeah, just like, come on, like, it's a lose, whatever. It should technically, hopefully he gets through it. I do hope he doesn't die from it, but I hope there's a lesson learned.
I do,
and
too.
I think that's such a I hope he comes out of it going like, it's for real. It's not cool. It sucks. And like, he throws the book at Corona, right? I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
The past teaches us.
I have this opinion about people in general, and I have people that disagree with me, but I do not believe that fundamentally people change. I don't agree with the idea that someone can just change unless there is some event that causes them to self-recognition, whatever. But I just don't
a change in worldview, a change in it's working against the house, right? Like we were talking about gambling. It's you're built on years and years of this much, and then it's like a lock, right? It just takes the perfect key to unlock it.
Yep.
Could be, but it's the hardest thing to fundamentally change who somebody is. It's a cataclysmic event. It just never happens. It's hard.
Yeah, I think that it takes those events to force a change. And I feel like if the president actually got COVID, that there is the potential that could be the catalyst that brings about a change. I also recognize that Donald Trump is 74 years old. He has been a white, old, angry person for at least 20 years, and I don't think this will have any effect on him. I think the best that we can hope for is that maybe a stimulus package will come out of it, because I've seen the tweets, I've seen the statements where he has said he has told the Senate just to get to work and he'll sign a bill, but it still sits on McConnell's desk. It has not moved. They are pushing forward with the replacement to RBG with this Amy Coney Island. Amy
Let's
Coney
call her
Barrett.
the handmaiden. It's fine.
You know what I was going to do is I was going to go through and try and pull as many clips as possible of people saying Barrett. I may still do that. Just because,
Yeah.
this guy. But the Senate is going to October 12th. They're going to start having the hearings for Amy Coney Barrett to begin her march towards the Supreme Court. And look, I get she is a very religious conservative, that she is ultra Catholic. I get that. I've done a little bit of research into some of her court decisions and whatnot, and I don't disagree with a number of them. The thing that everyone keeps saying is she's going to do away with Roe versus, or she's going to be the vote that does away with Roe versus Wade, or she's going to be the vote that does away with the Affordable Care Act. I
don't care for her moral compass in any degree.
See, and that's the thing is I don't get anything based on her decisions that she would potentially. I feel like just based on her decisions, they look like she is fairly straight with the law. That she
I don't
yeah.
know.
But that's what I'm saying. I
haven't gone out on a limb to say like not that lady, because I don't know. I don't know.
I will say this. I don't think that she's a bad Supreme Court justice pick. I don't think she's a bad one. I get that everyone thinks that is going to push the court towards the right, but I don't see anything in her court decisions that makes me think that she is going to reverse things or she's going to be the vote that reverses things that have been set by. Look, I'll be completely honest. I don't want a liberal court. I don't want a conservative court. I just want
it should be half and half. It checks and balances.
Well, I just want Supreme Court justices that are going to look at the law and interpret it based on the law, not based on politics.
An objective overviewing of justice.
That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what the Supreme Court was designed to be. It's not until the last 50 years that they said that people started deciding, oh, well, we need more conservatives on the court. We need more, Democrats or liberals on the court. It's not. And I don't know that any of those justices that are currently in place look at themselves as being more conservative or more liberal. I think they just look at themselves as being jurors that interpret the law, that interpret the strength or they determine the direction that the law is supposed to be. I think that they take their job seriously. I think that Amy Coney Barrett, just again, based purely on what I've read about some of her court decisions, that she potentially has the ability to make a jurist vote that would be legitimate. So I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I guarantee you she's going to be confirmed. I think that. But if the Democrats are smart, they should say, you know what, we will vote for if we also get to vote on the stimulus package. If we can vote on the stimulus package as well, if we can tie all this in together, then we'll vote for Amy Coney Barrett.
We'll see.
Barrett. No more. Okay, sorry. Well, Zach, do you have anything else you want to talk about this week?
I think I'm good. I will throw out there, guys. I've gone back and since I'm in saving for baby mode, I've gone back into my library of Ultimate Game Pass for Xbox stuff. And now that I have a gaming PC, and The Outer Worlds is still fantastic, and I've gotten past where I was when I quit on Xbox. Go play it. It's fun. I guess I should give. I guess I should give like a. We'll have Zach's video game segment. What are you playing this week?
There you go.
It could be anything. I was playing MLB yesterday and today.
Nice.
For a minute.
There's a throwback.
Won both. I finished off the Mets. So it was weird. It was weird seeing animated fans in the stands. I was like, "There's people
I bet
here."
it was. That's
That is a throw.
I was so hoping for an update that they put cardboard people in just so it would just
Oh,
make
that
it
would have been
feel
great.
much more real. Yeah.
That is legitimately a throwback to 1 quarter COVID period.
It literally is. It's like, remember when baseball came out and it was normal? Yeah. Remember when we expected baseball to be normal? Yeah, I know.
I remember.
It was odd.
You know, here's the thing. Here, I'll just say this is the last thing I'm going to say before we wrap it up. But the thing that I do find kind of odd is people keep saying we're 6 months into this. We're not 6 months into this. We are legitimately now. We are 9 months.
9 to 10. I think it's 10.
But I keep hearing people say, you know, it's been 6 months. We've had a disease. Why do they keep moving the date?
Yeah.
6 months ago in April. You know, we're now in October. This started January 24th or whatever was the first time the president denied it or basically said that, you know, it was one person coming over from China. And that was, you know,
it's so funny. If you haven't seen the South Park special on it, if you're easily offended, don't watch it. It blew my mind. I didn't expect it to be so, 1, controversial, and 2, just hilarious. It was. But the way I count it is Gabrielle and I were supposed to get married in April. And then I think it was the very beginning of April, we found out we were pregnant. And right after the wedding was canceled, we found out we were pregnant. We're like, no shit. Like, all right. So now this month, October, we're having a baby. This month she will be here, period. So I'm just going like, no, your life's weird. No, it's all weird. I proposed, got a car, the plague happened, baby, it's starting. And so it's been really, really weird for me. I'm just going to throw that out there. We have a generation.
Currently, the COVID period has maxed itself out. The COVID period has maxed its time frame out to about 9 months now. So we're 9 almost 10 months into this COVID period. And when all this is over, I am only going to refer to it as the COVID period because I think that there's going to be so many discrepancies as far as like when the date started or when the actual people started actually getting sick or when things got bad or when things got better and we got worse again and whatnot. It's all just going to be encompassing into one COVID period. And then the next pandemic will be the next COVID period.
The bloody sneeze. Who knows?
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this all about nothing podcast. Zach King with us. Trent Clark was here. Did have to run off, but do appreciate him for joining us for as long as he could. And we hope and pray that everything is okay with him and his family.
He'll be back.
Just want to make sure. Yeah, he'll be back. Just want to make sure that if you haven't already, that you do make sure to either head over to our webpage or get us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Get us your Leave It in 2020. We have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 entries so far into the Leave It in 2020 that we will be putting those out as we get, I guess, on our last episode of the year.
Ooh, we got to get Justin's Leave It for 2020. I'll text him and see what his is. The no live shows.
That's right. Yeah. So make sure that like I said, the list is growing. So make sure that you can either call us and leave us a message 803-672-0533, or you can email us at theshow@theallaboutnothing.com. The website again, theallaboutnothing.com, and we'll put more details. You can find details on the website for all of our shows, all of the platforms you can listen to us on. Please make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, all of that. Zach King, Barrett Gruber, and for Trent Clark, we will be back next week. You all have a terrific week. We will talk to you then.
Have a week.